and welcome to Verdict 2017. I'm Ashwarya Kapoor with you, and in the next 30 minutes I'll be getting you all the news and updates from poll-bound states. Also, big story coming in from Uttar Pradesh, where an alliance between the Samajwadi Party and the Congress has now been sealed. All the details on that and much more in the next half an hour, starting with the headlines. Samajwadi Party and Congress formalize alliance in Uttar Pradesh. SP to contest on 298 seats, Congress on 105. SP releases list of 77 candidates, a total candidate list at 285. Congress releases first list of 43 candidates. BJP's second list has 155 names. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley releases BJP's Punjab manifesto. Several populist measures promised, including farmers' income commission. Congress releases list of 63 candidates in Uttarakhand. Protests break out with supporters unhappy with the ticket distribution. And Election Commission seizes over 83 crore rupees in cash, over 7 lakh litres of liquor and over 1,400 kilograms of drugs in 5 poll-bound states. First up, big story coming in from Uttar Pradesh. Well, after days of hectic parleys, now the Samajwadi Party Congress alliance in Uttar Pradesh has been sealed. The SP will contest on 298 seats and the Congress on 105. Remember, the UP Assembly polls will be held in 7 phases for the 403 seats.
After hectic parleys, an alliance between the Samajwadi Party and the Congress has been formalized. Of the 403 seats for the Uttar Pradesh Assembly, the Samajwadi Party will contest in the lion's share of 298 seats. The Congress will fight on 105.
समाजवादी पार्टी और कांग्रेस पार्टी 2017 का चुनाव मिलकर लड़ेंगे। वही हम कांग्रेस पार्टी के 105 उम्मीदवार इस 2017 के चुनाव में उतारेंगे।
For the Congress, seat-sharing talks were hitting a roadblock, but the alliance is reported to have come through after Sonia Gandhi's intervention. The party says it is to ensure that the BJP is stopped from return to power after 15 years.
दोनों पार्टियां पूरी मुस्तैदी और मेहनत से धर्मनिरपेक्ष और सद्भावना की ताकतों को मजबूत करेंगी।
The Congress leaders sought to dismiss reports that the delay in the alliance was because lightweight emissaries like election strategist Prashant Kishore were involved in talks. The party asserted that top leaders like Priyanka Gandhi played a crucial role.
अगर हम सब पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज अलग अलग लड़े, सेकुलर पार्टीज अलग लड़े, समाजवादी अलग लड़े, कांग्रेस अलग लड़े, बीएसपी अलग लड़े, तो बीजेपी का रास्ता तो सीधे निकला।
The party said a common minimum program would be finalized within a week of the alliance coming to power.
आवाम चुनेगी अंत में और नीतियों के आधार पे, कार्य के आधार पे, और क्या वो प्रांत का करना चाहते हैं, देखना चाहते हैं, किस तरह का विकास देखना चाहते हैं, और उसमें ये जो गठबंधन हुआ बहुत सक्षम है।
Leaders like RJD President Lalu Prasad also played a behind-the-scene role in coming together of the two parties. Following the alliance, he tweeted, "I have been consistently in talks with the Samajwadi Party and Congress's top leadership for stitching an alliance between the two parties in Uttar Pradesh." Given the SP and Congress's performance in the last assembly polls, the new alliance could pose a tough challenge to its rivals. Panchanan Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And reacting to the alliance, the BJP that is looking for a comeback to power in the crucial state says that it will have no impact on the election results, but the party says it is hopeful of a win.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी हर चुनौती का सामना करने के लिए तैयार है। सपा और कांग्रेस ही नहीं, उसमें बसपा भी मिल जाए, तब भी भाजपा 300 से ज्यादा सीटें जीतेगी और उत्तर प्रदेश में सरकार बनाएगी।
And after the SP and the Congress announced their alliance, now the Samajwadi Party released its list of 77 candidates. It, however, left 3 seats for the Congress in Raebareli. Now, with this list, the SP has so far released tickets for 285 candidates for the state polls. It left 3 seats for Congress in its pocket borough of Raebareli and announced its candidates on the rest 3. Besides, the ruling party has not fielded any candidate for the Kunda seat, where Raghuraj Pratap Singh alias Raja Bhaiya is sitting as independent MLA, and is a minister in Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav's cabinet. Well, the party has announced a list of candidates in Pratapgarh, Allahabad, Jalaun, Jhansi, Lalitpur, Gonda, Sultanpur, Kushinagar, Deoria and Mau. And hours after the Samajwadi Party and the Congress decided to contest the UP Assembly elections as alliance partners, now the Congress released its list of first 43 candidates for the UP Assembly elections for the first and second phase on 11th and 15th of February respectively. And the Congress has given a ticket to former Union Minister Jitin Prasad, who hails from a prominent political family of Uttar Pradesh and has also fielded a heavyweight MLA Amarpal Sharma, a BSP defector from the Sahibabad seat. The Congress is contesting 105 seats in alliance with the Samajwadi Party and may soon come out with its second list of candidates as well. And the BJP also released its second list of candidates for Uttar Pradesh. Now the list of 155 candidates includes Pankaj Singh, who is the son of Home Minister Rajnath Singh, Siddharth Nath Singh as well as Rita Bahuguna Joshi. Now with the latest list, the party has so far announced the names of 304 candidates. There are, however, no Muslim nominees in the list. Now, besides Singh, who makes his electoral debut from Noida, now party's National Secretary Siddharth Nath Singh, Rita Bahuguna Joshi, who left Congress to join the BJP, as well as Mriganka Singh, who is the daughter of Kairana MP Hukum Singh, are among the party candidates. While announcing the list, the party said that it represents all sections of the people and it is confident of a two-thirds majority. Remember, the 7-phase polls in the states will take place on 11th, 15th, 19th, 23rd and 27th of February as well as 4th and 8th of March.
155 नाम जो भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने आज उत्तर प्रदेश में 2017 की विधानसभा के जो चुनाव हो रहे हैं उनके लिए घोषणा की है और जैसा मैंने बताया 304 नाम पूरे हो चुके हैं। सभी वर्ग को, सभी समुदाय, सभी वर्गों को इसमें प्रतिनिधित्व मिला है।
And my colleague Panchanan Mishra is now joining us live from Lucknow. Panchanan, after days of negotiation, the SP and the Congress have finally announced a pre-poll alliance for the UP Assembly polls. But it seems that the Congress really emerged a winner from the deal as it got thrice the number of seats than its 2012, a tally of just 28. And now the two parties would also issue a common minimum program. When can we expect that to happen?
Yeah, Shreya rightly said that after 5 days of hard negotiations, finally the Congress and Samajwadi Party alliance is done. And the Congress is clear-cut more winner, especially the state unit of Congress is clear-cut more winner in this alliance. Because they desperately wanted the alliance to revive itself and to gain more than 28 seats which they got in earlier elections. So the alliance is final, but there will be a common minimum program. It's not decided yet the date, but the Congress sources are saying that most probably day after tomorrow it will be announced, but they are seeking the direction from the Delhi unit, and so that we may see a common minimum program. This will be very crucial because of Samajwadi Party has announced its manifesto and it's given so many lucrative offer to voters. So we will have to see what the common minimum program said, because the main thrust is to prevent the BJP and BSP in this state elections, so that this secular alliance came, and the highest leadership of Congress Party was desperate to seal this alliance, and this happened only after 5 days of hard negotiations from Madam Sonia Gandhi and also Priyanka Gandhi.
Yes, also noteworthy was the fact that, Mulayam Singh Yadav was neither present while the party was making, announcement about an alliance with the Congress Party, as well as while releasing the manifesto. So shall we take it that he has been really now relegated to the spot of party mentor?
Yes, this is the issue which we are seeing since last more than 2 months in this Samajwadi Party. Mulayam Singh Yadav, who is now patron of this Samajwadi Party, was not present in this declaration of manifesto. However, we saw that there was a wait for Mulayam Singh Yadav, and Azam Khan went to take Mulayam Singh Yadav for this manifesto release. But as this program of manifesto release was concluded, within minutes Mulayam Singh Yadav was entered in his Samajwadi Party. This shows that he intentionally didn't attend this program. And but after this, Akhilesh Yadav and Dimple Yadav with Azam Khan went to Mulayam Singh Yadav and met, and they sought the blessings for the election. Earlier, Mulayam Singh Yadav has said that he will campaign for the election, but now we have to see whether the anger of Mulayam Singh Yadav is there or not. We have to see. We have to wait for that.
All right, Panchanan, thank you so much for all those updates there. So finally, an alliance between the Congress and the SP is in place. Meanwhile, Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav released his party's election manifesto on Sunday, promising a number of schemes. Now the manifesto announced distribution of laptops, Kanya Vidya Dhan, Samajwadi pension, laying of Purvanchal and Bundelkhand Tarai Expressway, and also establishing model villages, besides improving helplines for police and women. Well, another highlight of the manifesto was the setting up of the Farmers Fund called the Samajwadi Kisan Kosh for farmers to purchase seeds and fertilizers. Now, while the 32-page manifesto carried the photographs of Akhilesh Yadav and Mulayam Singh Yadav, there were no pictures of Shivpal Yadav. Now, Mulayam Singh Yadav also skipped the party manifesto release event.
सोचो जिन्होंने नारा दिया अच्छे दिन का, जिन्होंने कहा कि हम सबका साथ लेकर के सबका विकास करेंगे। बताओ, अब तो 3 साल हो गए हैं। जनता हमारे पुराने कामों को देखते हुए हमारे इन वादों पर विश्वास करेगी और हमारी समाजवादी सरकार पिछली बार की तरह न केवल अपने वादों को पूरा करेगी बल्कि आगे बढ़कर के प्रदेश की खुशहाली और विकास के लिए और भी नए नए काम करेगी।
एक बार जो वादे किए गए जो घोषणा पत्र में वो पूरे नहीं हुए, नए वादों की फेहरिस्त है। जनता के पास समय है, जनता मूल्यांकन करेगी।
इन्होंने खासकर अपने वोटों के स्वार्थ में जो किस्म किस्म की प्रलोभन भरी चुनावी घोषणाएं आदि की हैं, तो उससे प्रदेश की जनता इनसे प्रभावित होने वाली नहीं है।
अपराधी सत्ता के संरक्षण में पूरे उत्तर प्रदेश में सपा सरकार के कार्यकाल में नंगा नाच करते रहे। महिलाओं के प्रति अपराध की घटनाओं की बाढ़ आ गई।
Meanwhile, news from Punjab. Well, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley on Sunday released BJP's manifesto for the upcoming Punjab Assembly elections in Jalandhar. Well, in its 16-page manifesto, BJP promised a number of popular schemes like providing sugar and ghee at low prices, houses to the poor, land to Dalits and backwards, besides assuring 5 lakh rupees assistance to the families affected by militancy. Well, the manifesto also talks of setting up of a farmers' income commission, which will provide an assistance of 10 lakh rupees to the families of traders or farmers in the event of their sudden death.
और जो डेवलपमेंटल एक्टिविटी विकास दी गतिविधि पंजाब दे विच असीं कीती है, आने वाले 5 सालों में साडी सरकार बनती है ते उसी दा फैलाव होएगा और उदा ही एक्सपेंशन होएगा।
And the Election Commission officials have seized over 83 crore rupees in cash, 7.36 lakh liters of liquor, and 1,485 kilograms of drugs in 5 poll-bound states. Now, as per official data compiled since the announcement of the polls, now UP has witnessed the maximum seizure of 79.13 crore rupees, followed by 4.05 crore from Punjab, 33.27 lakh in Uttarakhand, and 6.95 lakh rupees in Manipur. Also, close to 4 lakh liters of liquor worth 10 crore rupees has been seized from Uttar Pradesh. Now, drug seizures was seen maximum in Punjab, as the total haul was recorded at 1,485 kilograms, valued at 10.3 crore rupees. News from Uttarakhand now. Well, the Congress released its list of 63 candidates for the 70-member Uttarakhand Assembly. Now, Chief Minister Harish Rawat will contest from 2 seats of Kicha and Haridwar Rural. Now, the candidates were decided at a meeting of the party's Central Election Committee chaired by Congress President Sonia Gandhi. Now, prominent among the candidates are State Ministers Indra Ridesh, who will contest from Haldwani, Surendra Singh Negi, who will be contesting from Kotdwar, as well as Dinesh Agarwal, who will contest from Dharampur. Assembly elections on the 70-member Uttarakhand Assembly is scheduled to take place on 15th of February. However, now the supporters of the disappointed ticket seekers of the state Congress vandalized the party office in Dehradun and they raised slogans against Chief Minister Harish Rawat.
कुछ लोग कांग्रेस को मटियामेट कर देना चाहते हैं, कुछ लोग उत्तराखंडियत को मटियामेट कर देना चाहते हैं। तो दोनों ताकतें एक ही चेहरे के नीचे हैं, तो उससे लड़ाई है।
मुख्यमंत्री जी ने कहा था कि उन्हें जो है टिकट देंगे, तुम जो है अपने काम करते रहो, कार्य करते रहो। वो इतना कार्य कर रहे हैं, हर क्षेत्र में घूम घाम उन्होंने इतनी मेहनत करी, उसके बाद टिकट किसी और को दे रहे हैं। ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए। हम नवीन जिसके साथ हैं।
Now, despite the outrage by the Congress workers, now Congress Uttarakhand State President Kishore Upadhyay has claimed that the party will secure 2/3 majority. He further said that the delay in publishing the first list of candidates is because the central leadership was busy in forming an alliance in Uttar Pradesh. Well, our correspondent Nav Vikram Singh spoke exclusively with him.
हमारे साथ हैं उत्तराखंड प्रदेश कांग्रेस अध्यक्ष किशोर उपाध्याय साहब। प्रदेश कार्यालय पर कार्यकर्ताओं ने गुस्से का इजहार किया, टिकट बंटवारे से काफी नाखुश दिखे, इस पर आप क्या कहेंगे?
देखिए, 1000 से ज्यादा लोगों ने कांग्रेस की दावेदारी की उम्मीदवार बनने के लिए। अब उसमें 70 लोगों को टिकट दिया जा सकता है। ये एक सतत प्रक्रिया है।
टिकट बंटवारा हुआ है, उसमें कई बीजेपी के बागियों को टिकट दिया गया है। ऐसे में क्या कार्यकर्ताओं में गुस्सा होना लाजमी है?
ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी और कांग्रेस में अंतर ये है कि वो लोग लोभ से वहां गए। जो लोग वहां गए हैं उन्होंने कांग्रेस सरकार को गिराने का काम किया, महापाप किया। जो कांग्रेस में आए हैं उनका कहना यह है कि उन्होंने भारतीय जनता पार्टी का विद्रूप चेहरा देख लिया है।
सर, टिकट बंटवारे में काफी देरी हुई, अभी भी कुछ सीटों पर ऐलान बाकी है, तो ये कब तक संभव है?
नहीं, कोई देरी नहीं हुई हमारे यहाँ, क्योंकि उत्तर प्रदेश के कारण उत्तराखंड पर थोड़ा असर पड़ा। उत्तर प्रदेश में कभी समझौते हो रहे थे पार्टियों में, कभी नहीं हो रहे थे, और उसकी वजह से हमारी जो सेंट्रल लीडरशिप थी उसमें व्यस्त हो गई।
तो आप देख सकते हैं किशोर उपाध्याय जी का साफ कहना है कि 2/3 बहुमत से उत्तराखंड में एक बार फिर कांग्रेस की सरकार बनेगी। कैमरामैन संतोष यादव के साथ नव विक्रम सिंह, राज्यसभा टीवी, देहरादून।
In verdict 2017, now we'll take a very short break. Up next, we have all the news from Goa and Manipur. Stay with us.
Hello and welcome to India's World. The primary basis of the European Union is free movement of goods and services, capital and labour. And she's closed the labour option.
It was a vote where populism won over cold statistics and logical messages about the gains that Britain has made out of being a member of the European Union.
The trade part is not what the killing part. It's the services part which is motivated. How you do that?
Watch experts debate what hard Brexit means for the UK in India's World on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. Now, ahead of the Goa Assembly elections, now Goans seem to be clearly divided over new airport project in North Goa. Now, locals dependent on trade and tourism in South Goa, where the state's only airport is located, fear losing their livelihood with a second airport now coming up in the state. Now, ruling BJP is pitching the airport as one of its biggest projects in the next term, bringing employment to the locals. Here is a special report.
Mopa village, 43 kilometers north of Goa's capital Panjim, is turning into a huge election issue. This after the state government decided to go ahead with the Mopa airport project last November, claiming that the existing Dabolim airport, which is under naval jurisdiction, has been saturated as far as civilian use is concerned. However, local activists opposing land acquisition for the project have termed it a land scam.
इधर बेचता है, बोलता है अरे ये हमारा देवस्थान हो, ये शांता दुर्गा देवस्थान है, हाँ उसका कलश वो संपुष्टन करने का नहीं मोला में लोगों का वो बेचता है। लोग पैसा हमका नहीं मांगता है, हमारा ये घर हमारा ये देवस्थान इधर रहना मांगता है। हम
ये काजू का पेड़ है, नारियल का पेड़ है, बहुत पेड़ लगाया। पूरा बच्चा था 15 साल का, उसके बाद मेरा उम्र वो तो साल अभी 60 बरस हो गया। वो पूरा हमारा जागा गया, वो पेड़ गया, उत्पन्न का पेड़ गया।
गोवा में 40 MLA है ना, सब लोगों ने साइड में जगह लेके रखा है, और जब ये एयरपोर्ट बनेगा तब उसका धंधा चलेगा। ये बड़ा लैंड स्कैम का प्रोग्राम है।
Locals dependent on tourism in South Goa are worried after the government pushed for the greenfield airport at Mopa. They want the existing airport in South Goa's Dabolim to continue, as its closure will spell doom for trade and tourism in South Goa.
अभी जो रीजनल प्लान जो बनाया है 2021 उसमें बहुत सारी गलतियां हुई हैं। गलतियां यानी कि वो एंटी पीपल हैं, एंटी गोवा की एनवायरनमेंट है उसके खिलाफ है, और जो पूरे की पूरी जो मेजर जो लैंड का ये है चंक है वो पूरा सेटलमेंट जोन में दिखाया गया है। उसमें बड़े इसके इको सेंसिटिव जोन भी है जो पूरे सेटलमेंट एरिया में आए हैं।
दक्षिण गोवा जो है उसमें थोड़ा फर्क जरूर पड़ेगा, लेकिन उसके गोवा में टूरिस्ट जो है वो दोनों जगह आते हैं, साउथ गोवा और नॉर्थ गोवा। नॉर्थ गोवा के हिसाब से वो वाइबल हो सकता है क्योंकि महाराष्ट्र का पश्चिमी हिस्सा और दक्षिणी हिस्से में टूरिस्ट अभी काफी आ रहे हैं, तो मोपा एयरपोर्ट होने से अच्छा हो सकता है, लेकिन उनको फायदा हो सकता है।
South Goa locals view the new airport construction as a calculated move targeted against Christians. North Goa, with a population of 8.1 lakh, is larger, but Christians constitute only 1.4%. While South Goa, with a population of 6.4 lakh, includes close to 37% Christians. The BJP-led state government, however, says that the new airport will bring better connectivity and more tourism.
All these projects are going to generate huge number of jobs. And I'm sure after creation of these jobs, no youth will be left unemployed.
The Mopa project has been under consideration since 1999 when the Congress ruled the state. However, the fear that it would lead to the eventual closure of Dabolim Airport and impact businesses in South Goa had stalled the project. Dabolim caters to over 6 million passengers annually. With passenger traffic growing at 20%, the airport is expected to soon saturate beyond its capacity. The contract of constructing Mopa Airport has already been given and the first phase will be completed by 2019. Ravindra Singh Sharon's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And Ravindra Singh Sharon is now joining us live from Panaji. Now, Ravindra, this upcoming project, that of an airport, now has really put the political parties in a catch-22 situation, so to say, because North Goa wants this project, South Goa fears losing of existing airport, and leaders actually are at pains. They don't want to offend either side. What do you have to say?
Yeah, that's right, Aishwarya. The proposed Mopa airport has basically divided the whole Goa in vertically north and south. The northern part of the Goa, the people are very happy that a new project is going to come here and a lot of new opportunities which will boost the tourism and a lot of employment will be created for this new Mopa airport will come into being. On the other hand, the people who are living, especially the people who are attached with the tourism sector, they are very frightened that it will eat into their share of the tourists and it will create a lot of economic loss to the economy of the southern Goa. But the one thing, the people are divided, but the political parties are absolutely in the catch-22 situation. No political party, including the new entrant Aam Aadmi Party, has not said anything against the Mopa airport. All of them are claiming that if the new airport will come, it will definitely be beneficial for the whole Goa state and it will boost the tourism, also the employment, it will generate a lot of employment also. Today, the Congress party is going to release its manifesto and this issue may appear in its manifesto as well. Besides this, a lot of issues, we are waiting the manifesto to come, but it is very much clear which the issues voraciously the Congress party is raising since the inception of the electioneering process here will be coming into this election manifesto, which will be coming at 3 p.m. today, will be released by the senior Congress leader Jyotiraditya Scindia.
All right. Thank you so much, Ravindra, for all those updates there. And now, amidst the economic blockade in Manipur for the last 2.5 months by the United Naga Council, now Chief Minister of the state, Ibobi Singh, has said that he will not review his government's decision to create 7 new districts. However, he has said that he is ready to visit Delhi for tripartite talks between the centre state as well as the United Naga Council. Now, our correspondent Akhilesh Suman spoke exclusively with Manipur Chief Minister Ibobi Singh in Imphal. Let's take a listen.
Chief Minister of Manipur is very busy at this point of time when elections are knocking the door, but still he could find some time to talk to Rajya Sabha TV. Mr. Ibobi Singh, there is a blockade going on for last 2.5 months. So what is the solution of this problem?
Solution, we are trying to our level best how to resolve this problem in consultation with the Government of India, particularly Ministry of Home Affairs. Until unless this Government of India, Ministry of Home Affairs, so please intervene it. In indefinite economic blockade is illegal. And national highway, where there is any national highway in the entire country, is the property of the Government of India. This is nation's property.
You are Chief Minister for last 15 years. You know the pulse of every person in this state. You must be having a feeling that this decision is going to create some inconvenience in the state.
That is, I know whether we create, there is always the problem is created. And also, if we are not creating this district, they are always creating this problem. Even if we are provided with the help of central government, Home Ministry. You see, problem is here in Manipur. If they started sit-in process, even sleeping along the national highway by women folk, small children, students, we cannot beat them left and right.
Yeah, you are very right. So that is why I am asking that whether there is any chance of a review from your side about this decision, about creation of 70 new districts?
No. Sorry, no. Once decided is decided. We have already now preparing for response to the Government of India that somebody share from the MSA, we have no problem, number one. We accept it, we agreed it. And talk venue at Delhi, we agreed, we will definitely attend the meeting.
So when it is going to be, sir?
No, it will be decided by the MSA.
Okay, MSA. So the Chief Minister is ready to talk for any tripartite talk in Delhi, and the dates has to be decided by Ministry of Home Affairs, Central Government. Akhilesh Suman for Rajya Sabha Television with Camera Person Sudhanshu in Imphal.
And Akhilesh Suman is now joining us on the phone line. Akhilesh, very quick, we wanted to know from you, you've spoken to the Chief Minister there. Now, Manipur has seen Congress government in the state for the last 15 years with Ibobi Singh as the Chief Minister since 2002. But now with him ruling out any, review of the decision on the 7 districts that have been the decision to bifurcate the state into 7 districts, and also now Aam Aadmi Party also in the fray. How is it going to affect the polls in the state?
Yeah, actually it is a very well calculated move by Chief Minister Ibobi Singh, and this has been done just before the election. So I think it is a part of his political agenda, that this agenda will polarize the votes in his favor. Because see, Nagas are the only people who are opposing this decision of creation of 7 districts. And other people are thinking that it will create inconvenience as far as administration is concerned. So at least this issue, Ibobi Singh is gaining the ground. And but there are other issues in the state also, like issues the people are charging that there is no proper infrastructure, there is no road construction in the state, and there is a lot of malfunctioning in the government machinery. So this agenda is also coming to the fore, and it will be interesting to see that how far this issue of creation of 7 new districts and the other agenda like infrastructure, malpractices in the government machinery, how it will be balanced. So it is very interesting situation in the state. That one is the identity issue, other is the economic.
All right, thank you so much, Akhilesh, for all those updates there. So the Chief Minister there ruling out any review of that decision of bifurcating the state into 7 districts. In any case, holding polls in Manipur is anyway going to be a real challenge for the Election Commission. And with that, we come to a wrap of this edition of Verdict 2017. Thanks for watching.